Hey everyone, welcome to today's explainer. Look, when the temperature absolutely plummets, most of us just scramble to check our insulation and bump up the thermostat, right? But we are completely ignoring a massive hidden threat right inside our homes, our drains. So today we're unpacking a complete guide to stopping frozen pipes in cold weather climates. We're going to look closely at how your everyday drain habits might actually be triggering winter disasters and exactly what you can do right now to protect your home. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Are your drains secretly preparing to freeze? We all know you can't really control the weather, especially when fierce winds and that deep, bone-chilling cold hit regions like the Chicago suburbs. But get this, it turns out you actually can control the water sitting inside your house. So are your daily habits unwittingly setting the stage for a massive burst pipe disaster? Well, let's find out. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be hitting 5 key areas. First, the winter plumbing threat, then locating vulnerable pipes, followed by preventative drain care. After that, we'll cover surviving sudden cold snaps, and finally, safe thawing techniques. Think of this as your chronological survival guide, taking us all the way from early preparation right through to emergency response. All right, jumping right into section 1, the winter plumbing threat, or as I like to call it, the hidden danger. Just consider this reality for a second. Plumbing failures during winter frequently start when water sits in or near unheated areas. Honestly, this completely flips the script. Most of us just think about the copper or PVC pipe itself freezing up, right? But the reality is that standing water in slow-moving drains creates the absolute perfect environment for freezing, especially overnight when your indoor temperatures naturally take a dip. Insulation is super vital, for sure, but your drain care matters just as much. Which brings us to section 2, locating vulnerable pipes and mapping out those danger zones. Now, what's really interesting about this, and honestly kind of scary, is that these danger zones exist even in totally well-heated homes. We're talking about your exterior-facing walls, uninsulated crawl spaces, garages, and anywhere plumbing penetrates your foundation. See, cold air just easily sneaks into these hidden vulnerabilities through tiny gaps around windows, doors, and vents. So if you've got slow-moving drains or water backed up in these specific zones, man, you have a literal recipe for a freeze. Let's move on to our next section and see how this builds into our prep. Section 3, preventative drain care, before the deep cold hits. It really all comes down to your daily habits. On one hand, you've got these risky behaviors that lead to stagnation. Stuff like pouring grease or food scraps down the sink, ignoring those slow drains, or dealing with blocked vent caps. Doing these things traps water exactly where you don't want it. But on the flip side, safe habits are what will actually save your pipes. This means taking a minute to clean out drain strainers, to get rid of hair, soap scum, and grit, and maintaining clear traps so water just drains freely. Seasonal drain maintenance prevents the water stagnation that ultimately leads to freezing. Oh, and if you have recurring issues, like tree root intrusion or a failing sewer line, you absolutely have to address those root causes before the temperatures drop. Moving forward in our timeline, let's look at Section 4, surviving sudden cold snaps with active management. So, the crucial point here is how you react when that sudden cold wave actually hits your region. Your main goal? Limit the time water spends in exposed sections of plumbing. You do this by taking active defense steps, things like letting warm water just trickle from the tap to relieve pressure and stop water from stalling out. Also, keep your cabinet and vanity doors open so the room's heat can reach those partially exposed pipes. And you've got to stay vigilant, monitor your supply lines for frost, and keep a close eye out for any recurring drain backing. But what happens if you're a little too late? That brings us to Section 5, safe thawing techniques and emergency response. The stakes here are absolutely incredibly high. The longer frozen water remains in place, the more likely it is to cause a pipe rupture when it expands. When you suspect a pipe has already frozen, like maybe you turn the tap and the water has just stopped flowing completely, you need to act immediately. That expanding ice is a severe danger, particularly if you're dealing with an older plumbing system. It's like a ticking time bomb inside your walls. So, if you find yourself in an emergency, here is your protocol. First things first, identify frost or stopped flow early. Immediately throw open those vanities to let the warm room air circulate inside the cabinets. Next up, begin gentle, controlled warming. You want to start near the faucet and work your way outward, keeping the space properly ventilated. And remember, absolutely no open flames or extreme heat sources. Seriously, no blowtorches. Finally, if the flow isn't restored quickly, or if you spot literally any signs of leaking, stop what you're doing and call a licensed professional immediately. Water damage spreads like wildfire, and a pro can stop the guessing game during the coldest, most stressful hours of the night. And this brilliantly illustrates our main takeaway today. Ultimately, your best defense boils down to this: keep water flowing, keep drains working properly, and respond early. Combining physical preparation, like insulating those pipes and sealing up drafts, with consistent good drainage habits is your ultimate protection. Please do not ignore slow runoff, because when water can't move freely, it cools down faster and freezes sooner. It's that simple. I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Is standing water in your home just waiting for the next temperature plunge? Do me a favor and take a look around your house today. Check your traps, clean out those strainers, and insulate those gaps. Building a few preventative habits right now can help you completely avoid the absolute nightmare of disruption, cleanup, and expensive repairs from a frozen pipe emergency later on. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and hey, stay warm out there.